Representative Jason Ortitay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Secretary.
Good morning.
I just had a quick question about the Act 146 waivers. Secretary Davin testified last week about the use of clawbacks and the waivers, and the fact that DCED year over year has considerable amount of unspent prior year funds with some very old appropriations dating back before this administration. With the budget issues we're facing, why not allow those tens of millions of dollars to lapse into the general fund or even put them in the rainy day fund?
Mm-hmm. Well, we can't put them in the rainy day fund without the statutory authority to do that. Yeah, those are individual situations that we have to assess in each individual circumstance. What we believe is that the clawback provisions that we have in place, we would like to strengthen. What our proposed budget would do is not only take steps to make sure that businesses are accountable for the taxpayer subsidies they receive, but to the extent that we can, and our proposed budget would earmark about $4 million of that clawback revenue to increase apprenticeship program opportunities, job training initiatives, to reinvest those funds to provide what we believe to be a better trained workforce going forward, so that those program expenditures can provide an even greater return to the Commonwealth as we go forward.
So, in other words, a lot of these funds, from what I have seen, is from companies who have failed to meet investments and job creation goals, and that's where that money is being pushed towards the new apprenticeship program, right?
Correct. And again, in fairness to Secretary Davin, in his case, these are some of the most difficult situations that he's got to deal with. If a business is struggling, if they're not able to meet the obligations, the return on the Commonwealth's investment, if you will, he's got to make a determination about the right decision to make to enforce the commitments, the promises that they made. If a company all of a sudden that took state incentives decides to pull up and leave the Commonwealth, that's an easy answer. But if it's a struggling small business that's still operating and trying to keep their financial position above water, it's a more difficult circumstance. Excuse me. So he's got to make those decisions on a case-by-case basis. But again, we believe that businesses need to be accountable. The promises that they make for the subsidies that they receive, they have to be accountable for.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.